all around the league expect that they will be in the market for a quarterback.
Let's get to the draft plans in a second, but first, because, you know, with the Seth Wickersham report that came out, you know, at the beginning of this year about how we're seeing basically cracks in the foundation, what is all of this now saying about the relationship between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Well, it's just unusual to have this much Patriot chatter, this much Patriot drama. 2018.
Regardless of any of that sort of drama, the fact is, even if Tom Brady comes back this season and plays, he is going to be playing at the age of 41. The Patriots, they do have those 2 first-round draft picks. How does all of that now sort of impact what they're going to do with those 2 picks?
Because even if draft. Now, whether that means they take one in round 1 or round 2 or trade up in round 1 or trade back into round 2, we'll see.
So many stories.
But they're going to go for a quarterback at some point. We just don't know which one and where it will be. Chances are the quarterback will be taken higher than he will be later on in the draft. But with these looming questions.
And I think an interesting potential draftee. I say that about all of them, but it'll be interesting to see where he lands, Todd. And after he transferred to Oklahoma, known as much for some of those crazy plays as some of the crazy antics. But you watched him so much on film. What'd you see?
Well, first of all, people in the league, when you talk to Lee, wouldn't go to the end with him. I mean, he's their guy.
There's always a range in the draft, or at least a range we think. You know, the highest he may go and where he may fall.
Right.
What's his range in this draft?
Well, I think when you look at the quarterbacks, this is going back to 2013, so that's good. But we can talk about it. Well, Jeff Saturday will be using this one later today, I believe.
That's what we call it, tease.
Saturday, I told you to keep those offensive lineman hands off of this thing. But Baker, I think 3 to the Jets. But then I think when you look beyond that, Miami at 11 is a strong possibility. And worst case, I would guess, would be number 12 to the Buffalo Bills.
So 3 to 12, so to speak. So in that top 15. I think his personality would be interesting with the New York Jets, by the way. We also discussed yesterday at length sort of the vertically challenged, the height issue, if you will. And I think it's a little unfair. We compare him to other quarterbacks, his height. But let's take that out of the equation and give me a quarterback, height notwithstanding, that plays like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, this is a classic.
Often being reserved about this, whereas the head coaches are in there like, this is the guy, go get him. So I think that will have a significant impact on draft day on where he ends up.
Well, I think Todd's got a great point, and I've heard that before. He's polarizing, right? You're all in or you're not. There's not a lot of middle ground. With Baker Mayfield.
They love him, though. They
right on the front of the television, right there.
Right there. It's a 2014 draft. It was also a good draft.
It was.
Jeff Saturday is here, Todd McShay, to tell him what he's doing.
That was
a little different. This is a different feel, okay?
Yeah.
Nevertheless, perhaps we do it differently. You know, you never know.
Got to.
So what do you got?
Let's crank it up.
Redraft the top
1,
10.
White all over again. This guy flat out makes it happen. He will get paid, deserves to get paid, the most dominating interior tackle in our game, and plays lights out week in and week out. You got to respect the way he plays.
Looking for a new deal with his current team, I should add. Not at offseason work.
He does a good job, run game, pass game. He is the best guard in our game right now. You got to love the way he played. So I would take him at number 4. Now we're going to
rounding out the top 5.
We're going 5. Well, wait a minute. We go D end here. Let's go D end.
Clowney still on the board?
I'm going back. Here we go. I was looking for him. Listen, first player to be first-team All-Pro. He's a finisher. He brings the attitude to that offensive line with the Tennessee Titans, but he would have been a great addition for the Atlanta Falcons just with the actual the style that he plays with, being on the edge. I think people, you know, Matthews has done a good job, but I think Lewan would set himself apart right there.
How about the talent still on the board? This was a good draft.
It's a really good draft.
This was a really good draft.
Now you know I got to do it, everybody.
Year effect.
It hurt him.
It hurt him.
It definitely hurt him.
It did. It changed
But when you talk about his productivity and what he's done, and everybody in the league is looking for that edge presence, he would have brought that to Cleveland and done a really good job.
Does he continue? Does his game continue to ascend?
I think he will. I think he will. I think that first year was basically he hadn't figured out what the foot injury was and just wasn't right. He hadn't been right for about a year and a half. And so when he finally got right, we saw he's been dominant at times.
No, absolutely. And genetically, this guy is, I mean, he is a monster and will continue to play that. He's learned how to play long in the league. You know, be able to use his length to extend plays, get out, not let guys get to his legs, which happened to him early, and probably
planning some foresight with that pick.
And I think that goes underestimated for all players. Finding the right system for guys to get in and be productive. And like you said, said, having a vision for where this guy is going to play and be.
Well, we go back to that first conversation we had about Patrick Mahomes. Great quarterback, even better situation. Sit
Absolutely.
for a year, then you've got Andy Reid, then you've got that
Development
offense.
matters.
It makes it
At number 10.
Like it.
any dissension at all?
I mean, he only had one little spot. Who did you have? You had.
I was asking him. You know, he
only yelled at you all day yesterday about screwing up the board and all that. I'm going easy.
This is a hard one. It's hard one to screw up. A lot of ballers.
I know. I mean, really. You really could shift this order. It's not like anybody's going to argue.
No doubt.
Well, there you have it. That is Jeff Saturday's second chance selection.
Devontae Freeman.
We all deserve a second chance.
Yes.
And so